post an update to my previous video concerning my journey towards acquiring titles on the two Buick Skylarks that I purchased. That purchased them on a bill of sale. They did not have a title when I purchased them. It's probably channel suicide to be posting a second video on this, since almost no one watched the first video, but it's the one thing that I'm posting that I think may actually be helpful to people who are considering buying a vehicle that doesn't have a title on it, and just to kind of share the journey that I went through. I was able to acquire titles for both of them. I received titles today in the mail, so we were successful. Relatively straightforward on the first one. Where I left off in the last video was I'd made contact with everybody and kind of gathered all the information, and you have to have a VIN verification done, an inspection by the Highway Patrol. I was able to contact them, and they came to my house and inspected the vehicles here, so I did not have to trailer them to a location and unload them like they had alluded to on their website. So they came and did it the same day I called them. In fact, they got out here that very afternoon and ran through the inspections, so that all went well. When I went to get the titles, one of them, that lien that I had mentioned, came back to haunt me. It didn't matter that that bank had gone out of business, because someone acquires assets of all banks that go out of business, and so I had to find out where that eventually ended up, and went through 4 or 5 different banks. Fortunately, the information was easy to find. It was all right online, but it ended up with Bank of America owning the assets of that bank ultimately. And so I contacted Bank of America after going back and forth, or not back and forth, but just you call to get told to call a different place, to get told to call a different place. And anyway, so I got an email that handles their lien releases, and so I sent them an email with the bill of sale and some other information that they had asked for, and they emailed me, or not emailed me, they mailed me a lien release. And it said on the thing to wait 10 days. I was anticipating getting an email back from them to some kind of communication. Never received an email back. I just received the lien release in the mail right at 2 weeks after I had sent the email requesting for them to release the lien. And so once I had that in hand, I went to our local vehicle registration. There was a brief conversation about the fact that the person that I bought the car from had it registered in his name at some point in time, and so it would have been possible for him to file for a lost title. But they said there was the waiver that I mentioned before, or the time period. They said is 5 years. Anything that hasn't been registered in over 5 years, they can choose not to have the person file for a lost title, and they can just make the transfer into my name on the bill of sale. Because ultimately it came down to, this is my words, not theirs, but they could have made him file for a lost title, and so they would have had to have done that paperwork just to turn around to transfer the title into my name. And so I guess it just made more sense to just make that title issue to me, instead of making 2 people jump through more hoops and make themselves work harder. So that's where it ended up. Title's in hand. Now we can start spending a little bit of money on these things. Appreciate y'all watching. I don't ask this, but nobody's going to watch this video. So if you do and you actually made it this far, how about a thumbs up or something? Just because, I'm not into the algorithm. I'm not trying to build a huge channel, but at the same time, when you put in the time and the effort, and 2 people look at it, kind of makes you wonder if it's worth putting in the time and effort. Thank you all.